because I bought a duplex a couple of streets away from Old Dominion. I lived in one side and I rented out the other side. And that's how I dealt with that.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond. Greetings.
Hey, are you interested in being on Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham? Well, the link is in the show notes.
Welcome back to Black Wall Street Today. I am your guest host, Brian Owens. And today we have with us Cavelle M. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is the CEO of Onyx Realty Pros. Just to start it off, you can find them at onyxrealtypros.com, or you can find them on Facebook, Onyx Realty Professionals, and on Instagram, We Move Keys. That's clever. Onyx Realty is the largest minority and veteran-owned real estate firm in Virginia Beach. So I would like to welcome you. Hello, Mr. Molino.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me as a guest. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I know I gave a little bit of an intro, but please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do for them.
So, just like you said, I am the broker, owner, / CEO of Onyx Realty Professionals. We are the largest, Black-owned, veteran-owned brokerage in the Virginia Beach area. Started out as a real estate agent after graduating from Old Dominion about 10 years ago. Had a passion for real estate, and that's how I got in. Worked my way up to building a team within the industry. After having a team, decided to open my own brokerage because we were the number one team at the brokerage that we were at before. And we did that for 3 years in a row. So the team started with 1, 2, 3. We got to about 7, then about 10 folks. And, it just made sense. And the motivation there as well was really to do exactly what we're doing right now, and that is to have the representation within the brokerage industry of folks in the leadership position, that look like me. There was nowhere else that I could have went that had the type of, culture and space to really demonstrate that. There are a lot of other owners and a lot of other brokers. However, they mainly operate kind of mom and pop style or small team, right? And we have a storefront in Virginia Beach off of South Plaza Trail and Holland Road. And right now we house about 35 agents. And we started with 7 agents. And now we're up to 35. So we're the fastest.
Wow.
Yeah, fastest growing. And we full service. So we handle from helping you buy homes, helping you sell homes. We also do property management. We manage your property. My business partner, we're both Class A contractors, but he handled the new construction side. So we could build your house from the ground up as well, or handle rehabs. We really tried to create that one-stop shop for the real estate industry. And we're very proud of that. Once you come to us, probably 90% chance that we can take care of whatever your real estate needs as far as residential is concerned. We just started tapping into commercial side, but mainly residential, hands down, we'll be able to take care of you.
Now, it seems like, as you said, it's a one-stop shop, and it seems like people can come to you guys for everything from first-time buyer to trying to buy a rental property or even trying to start a new career in rental properties. But let's start at the very beginning. For the most unexperienced, what does a brand new homeowner, someone who's desiring to own a home for the first time, need to have when they call you or contact you the first time?
Well, to call me, you don't need to have anything but some things. I love educating people and helping them with the process. But to be in a position to get into the market and actually purchase a home, I would say the first thing that you would need to do is have, some sort of an idea of your finances as far as, savings, and some sort of an idea as far as your credit is concerned. And even if you don't, then that's what we'll advise you. But I say that to say that let's talk about credit first, right?
Please.
In order to purchase a home, you'll need to have a median FICO score of usually about 640, okay? 620, they'll consider it as well. So anywhere between 620 or 640, but to be safe, 640 is a magic number. When I say median, I mean that they look at all three of your FICO scores, but what they do is they throw out the highest one and they throw out the lowest one and they keep the one in the middle. So it's kind of like, hey, this one is high for a reason, this one is low for a reason, let's use the one in the middle. So that mid score is really what they go off for, because usually all three scores are different. So you could have a score of 660, a score of 590, and a score of, 635. And if that's the case, you'll use a 635 and, you probably will be able to purchase a home within the next 30 to 40 days, right? Because that's how long it takes to close on a property. It may take an extra 30 days for us to find something, because right now the market is a little bit competitive. So within the next 2 months, if that's the type of scores you're working with, you have a really good chance of being able to get into a home. And when I say they, I'm referring to the lender. So we as real estate agents, as realtors, we in charge of the process as far as getting into homes, negotiating the contracts, helping you with the process of making sure inspections are done and things of that nature. But as far as the mortgage is concerned, a lender or a bank is the one that will be pretty much stroking that check on behalf of you to the sellers. And you then in turn, pay the bank back. So it's like you really have to have some sort of, financial, sense of responsibility, because the average home, in Hampton Roads is about about 250,000, right? So you're asking someone to lend you $250,000. You gotta, look like you could handle that a little bit.
100%. If you just tuned in with us, by the way, this is Black Wall Street Today. Again, I am the guest host, Brian Owens, and we are speaking with the CEO of Onyx Realty about a whole wide variety of real estate topics. What he just addressed was, if you are interested in buying a house for the first time, credit scores and how that works. Now, a lot of people out there who are listening are renting right now, and they're paying a significant amount in rent. Now, there are reasons why people don't purchase. A lot of the times they don't feel like they're ready for that commitment and they want to be able to be flexible and move. But a lot of people are just scared and feel like, oh, that's all too complicated for me. That's a lot of stuff that I don't want to get into. What would you say to the person who is spending $1,400 a month on rent, but just feels like ownership is too complicated or will get them into a sticky financial position they can't get out of, who are just basically afraid?
Right. And I mean, it's valid. It's a big step. And unfortunately, if you are in a situation where that's kind of the census around everyone that you kind of have dealings with, then there's no one really letting you know that it is easier than it may appear to become a homeowner, and definitely more beneficial than renting. Because I always say you're paying a mortgage regardless, right? It's just if you're paying your mortgage or you're paying someone else's mortgage, right? You're paying a landlord mortgage. And $1,400, even $1,200, what people need to realize is right now is actually the better time than any to entertain the thought of purchasing a home, because money is considered to be relatively cheap as far as borrowing concerned. So for instance, the average interest rate, a good interest rate, is anywhere between 4 to 5% is a good interest rate, okay, on a mortgage. The previous guest was talking about interest rates on credit cards and the rule of 72 and things like that. This is a perfect segue along that lines, because for instance, when I bought my first home, I bought it while I was in college at Old Dominion, okay? And that's kind of what got me into real estate, because I bought a duplex a couple of streets away from Old Dominion. I lived in one side and I rented out the other side, because I knew that I wasn't able to afford carrying a home mortgage as a college student, but I had just enough money to qualify for something. And that's how I dealt with that. And the other person, the family next door, they paid like 75% of the mortgage. So I just had a couple of $100 left over. Of course, I'm in college, so what did I do? I rented out the other 2 bedrooms to my fellow college students, and we shared the utilities. We split the rent, right? And my entire overhead was covered, right? And at that point in time, I was happy to get an interest rate of 6% on that mortgage, right? Right now, today, you could get an interest rate for about 2.5% on a 30-year fixed mortgage, right? 2.5, 2.75. I'm personally refinancing on one of my properties that I occupied, and I'm getting ready to lock in at 2.3%, okay? So that's very, very low. And with that, the buying power is so much more than you would have at a higher interest rate. So if, for example, $1,400, 2.5%, you may get a mortgage overall of about, let's say, $210,000, okay? Now, your financial situation is not going to change a year from now if you decide to wait. You probably could only still afford $1,400 a month. However, interest rate will definitely change. And let's say interest rates even go up to 4% or 4.5%. They're going to factor that interest rate into the $1,400. And now that same $1,400, you could only afford to buy a house for about $140, right? So it's all about the buying power and understanding that the cheaper the rates, the more buying power you have, and your ability to get something and really enjoy the fruits of your labor. And you have the benefits of also having tax write-offs and stuff like that. You can write off the interest, you can write off the taxes, and you can write off any repairs that you pay towards that house and things like that over the years. You can't write off your rent, you know? So for example, $1,400, let's just say, because it's front-loaded as far as the interest is concerned. So you are paying about $1,000 a month in interest the first couple of years. So $1,000 a month, a year, that's $12,000. You probably will get back in some type of credits close to about 25% of that. So if you normally pay taxes and you normally pay, let's say, $4,000 or $5,000, because you now own a house, potentially you could break even because you had the ability to write off the interest payments. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding the ability to purchase, understanding the benefit of owning over renting, you have that type of flexibility. And also, just to add in real quick, with payments so low and property appreciating, years from now, when interest rates go back, your interest rate is very, very attractive. And also, as rents get higher, you now have the ability to rent your property out, and still take advantage of all those write-offs, but now somebody else is paying your mortgage. So it's just flexibility. It's flexibility. And you could also sell and take advantage of any equity that might have been built up from appreciation and also from you paying it down. So, just buying gives you that ownership and that ability to change the trajectory of your financial being.
That was not only incredible information, but that was an incredible story. A young black man at ODU purchases a duplex, has a family live in one side, and his friends rent out the other two rooms on his side to be able to have a residence during school that's really positioning yourself. That story is all about positioning yourself. That family was going to pay rent to somebody. Those friends were going to rent rooms to somebody. This was a story about you financially positioning yourself in a place of ownership to really take advantage and help. I'm sure that your friends would have rather been splitting a room with you than giving it to some stranger. And that's a lot what realty is about.
We have some good memories in that house, and just one more time, for example. So, I purchased that for $210 back in 2006. Mm-hmm. Kept it all the years, and I sold it last year. Almost wish I had waited till this year to sell because market is just, a little bit crazy. But I did sell last year finally because I was going to pull a cash out and do some investments. But I bought it for $210 in 06. The bottom of the market was actually 2008, 2009 when everything crashed back then. And the duplex right next to mine, crazy story, sold for like $90,000. I was very, very hurt because, one, I was like, wow, I wish I waited and get that deal. Two, I wasn't able to buy it and take advantage of it, right? Because sometimes that's what you do in these situations. You double down, right? So somebody else bought it. They got a good deal. But I had to be, luckily it was an investment property, so I was getting help paying the mortgage, but I rode the wave all the way back up because the market did crash, come back up, right? And now in 2020, I was able to finally put the house back on the market. And I didn't want to put it back on for less than what I purchased it because the market had crashed so bad, because I literally bought in the peak, which brings me to another point that I'll address shortly. But I literally bought in the peak of the market. So it went down. I had to wait for it to come back up. So I put it on the market for $215, received several offers, and was able to end up selling for $231.
Wow.
As is, with very little closing costs.
That's
and then I had paid the mortgage down to about $130 something.
That's incredible. I personally will be contacting you as well before we get out of here because we've run out of time. Just let everybody know where they can find you because I'm sure after hearing this, people are going to want to talk to you. To let them know again where they can find you.
So you can find me, of course, directly at the website. You could click directly to me, onyxrealtypros.com. My name is Cavelle Molino. My cell phone is 757-589-7007. You can get me there directly. You can also email me at cavelle@onyxrealtypros.com. And on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything We Move Keys. Just hashtag We Move Keys or just at We Move Keys. and that's us. And you'll be able to definitely get in contact with me. And I would love to help anyone at any time.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, your stories, and for giving us that line to reach out to you.